The martial arts are a systematic collection of practices for training in combat. American culture today has taken the martial arts and composed it into a series of organizations ranging from traditional organizations, sports organizations, aerobic organizations, to organizations of dance and meditation. Sadly, like any source of power, the martial arts have been manifested into a way to exploit people's hopes, dreams, desires, and confidence into a scam to make profit from the public's lack of understanding and insecurities.
If a person wants or desires something, the majority of people are going to do what it takes to get it, and that's exactly what a lot of these franchise martial arts schools are exploiting. They say two things to their students: pay the money and show respect. And honestly, we live in America, and a lot of people, adults even, don't understand what respect truly is, and that is another aspect of the situation that a lot of franchise martial arts schools choose to exploit. Many schools use the fact that people are unfamiliar with respect to deter them from being self-reliant and to deter them from asking questions in general, and they don't even realize that it's happening. Respect, quite simply, is just treating others how you'd want to be treated. I've seen schools where you're not even allowed to offer your hand in hopes of a handshake with a person who is higher ranking than you are. I've seen schools where the grandmasters won't even acknowledge a student unless they're paying a bill or unless they have money in their hand, and that is not treating people the way you want to be treated. That's not respect, that's idol worship. It's not respect, that's idol worship.
The word respect has a profound influence on everyday culture in the world, even more influential in the martial arts. The word respect takes on nearly religious proportions that dare not be broken.
If a child is talking too much, the parents will scold or reprimand the child, and they'll say, show respect. They say to the child, show respect. If a child later on in life is watching a movie where a bunch of servants or people are bowing to a king or a superior, and they ask the parents, why are they doing that? And they say, oh, to show respect. And so the child will grow up with a fundamental idea of what respect is, yet still doesn't know the purity of it, and yet they grow up confused about the whole situation. Respect is ironically confused with having a groveling or submissive nature. These things have nothing to do with respect, but they're being conditioned upon the students in schools nowadays, and this is all being done for financial gain and power to be capitalized off of.
The martial arts are often viewed with mysticism, foreign elements, and intimidating movements, which quickly deters people from attempts at practicing it. However, the mere complexity that surrounds the martial arts is nothing but a disguise to shun away the inquisitive and the confident. A number of years ago, different men came up with the idea for a franchise of martial arts schools. This idea contained a vast number of deceiving control mechanisms, fallacies, as well as an ingenious pyramid scheme. When you walk through the door of a martial arts school, you have a clear objective, which is to physically defend yourself or others from physical threat. And it is this objective that the martial arts franchises take advantage of. The franchise works like this. A person opens up a martial arts school by leasing a large building or room. People come in and say, I want my child to learn self-defense. The school owner says, sure. So the school shows them a few greatly overpriced moves in an introductory course, and then gives them a piece of official-looking paper, which they call a certificate of participation. The child becomes ecstatic over the piece of paper because he is too young to realize that it is meaningless. The parents themselves become ecstatic over the child's happiness and let the love for their child blind them from the obvious scam and its ridiculous prices. By this process being repeated several times, the student body inevitably grows larger, thereby expanding the range of talent in the student body. This is crucial in building a franchise martial arts school because it provides the owner with the most important element in the whole pyramid scheme, the talented pupil. A student that shows a high level of talent and controllability. The owner of the soon-to-be martial arts franchise must keep a weathered eye for this particular type of student, for it is essential in the franchise process. The talented pupil is then given special praise and exploited for the purpose of teaching the students to teach other students. The talented pupil now becomes an apprentice and is given a special uniform and belt to signify his superiority over the student body. This superiority so desired by the entire student body. The process is then repeated several times. This inspires other students to become talented pupils themselves in hopes of obtaining the same praise. Over time, a group of talented pupils is created and given students of their own, but not before the talented pupil goes through a tedious, generic boot camp. This boot camp is called instructor's training, and it is specifically designed to test the pupil's ability to take physical punishment and mental abuse. After the instructor's training is successful, the school owner hosts special seminars designed to teach them marketing. These seminars consist of rehearsed phone conversations in order to influence people to come into the school, as well as the programming of responses to a vast number of complicated questions that could be asked by potential clients. The overall goal of these marketing seminars is to teach the talented pupil to be relentless and to program in their mind that every no is closer to a yes.
I've been there. They drill you, and they drill you. They ask you questions after questions after questions, and they drill you for hours a week on these things. They don't want people walking away. They don't want people hanging up the phone. They don't want people saying no, because there's no money when people say no. They'll lecture you for hours a week of how you're not making enough money for the schools. And that's all they really expect of you, is just to make money for the schools, and they will lecture you constantly, non-stop. I've been there.
The school owner now steps back and lets his pupils do most of the work for him. The soon-to-be franchise owner now becomes the head, or chief instructor, and now only teaches his talented pupils, who have now been given the title of instructor. It is logical to assume that the process ends here, but it does not. For a new type of puppet is created from the instructors. This new puppet is created by giving praise to the instructor who makes the most money for the new chief instructor. This new pupil is given an even higher praise and is told by the chief instructor that if they continue on this path of servitude, that they too can become a chief instructor with a school of their own someday. This new pupil is then given the title of assistant chief instructor and is forced to work harder for less pay. After many years of servitude, the assistant chief instructor is then given the permission to start their own school. The process then repeats. The assistant chief instructor is now a chief instructor with a building of his own. The newly appointed chief instructor begins the process of building up his own student body and finds talented pupils of his own within that student body. The original chief instructor continues to find assistant chief instructors within his original group of talented pupil instructors. After the original chief instructor creates a handful of schools by repeating this process, the pyramid scheme is now complete. The original school owner then changes titles from chief instructor to founder, from there having two choices: make more schools for his franchise, or sit back and let his pupils do it for him. And there it is.